Well, this title race is hotting up here in the National League, but boy are we missing some of those big stars and big personalities that left in January. After that 30-man squad earlier in the year, we're down to the bare bones, and today we've probably got our two toughest games in the National League run-in. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 48 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We are back today on the verge of bottling it as we go into the title race running against Dulwich Hamlet, who are slipping away from the playoffs, and Stevenage, who are well and truly in them. Eastleigh, though, have gathered a 5-point lead, albeit having now played a game more. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can do it, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. But there is no doubt in my mind that what happened at the end of January and those two star players we lost have had some impact on our run into the season, because we've not just lost two of our best players, we've lost two of our best characters, that driven personality, those people who really wanted to win. And when we go a goal down, the difference just shows. Josh Nichols is out for the season as well, so we're essentially 3 down for now. But let's start by having a look at the schedule and the transfer market, because next week is when it closes. Thursday night is when the non-league transfer window closes. There have been no signs that any of our first teamers are going to be replaced yet. Abraham Kanu has gone out on loan to Bath. He played that one FA Trophy game where he was awful. A couple more youngsters have come in, none of them good enough for first team level. But we've still not replaced Paulwell or Sablia. And Sablia was that balanced personality, but fairly determined, big in the air, strong character. And Nico Paulwell, as we know, driven personality, both academy players, both got it. And that is where the struggle is at the moment for us. Nico Paulwell has now played 10 games in League One. Preston are still up in second place. Sablia went to Crawley, who are mid-table in League One. These are players that are doing very well 2 divisions up. Shows where we probably should be, and he's still performing well at that level. So we're in a big mess at the minute because we are just having some really odd and off days. So let's have a look at the schedule. It has largely been the same as since you were last with me. 1-0s, 2-1s, things like that. But we are losing a couple, and we've had a couple of stinkers as well. So since you were last with me, that defeat against Aldershot, we backed up with a really disappointing draw at home to Chelmsford. We gave up the lead twice after Burrell and Colkett had got their goals. We then bounced back with a 2-1 win at Hartlepool. Nicky Colkett and Josh Nichols, despite a late consolation, that made it a little bit more tense than it should have been. A 1-0 win at home to Gateshead with a Nicky Colkett penalty. A 1-0 defeat at Barnet with a late goal conceded. A 1-0 win at home to Boreham Wood with Harvey Greenslade getting a late first half goal. Then into March, a 1-1 draw away at York. It wasn't a bad one in the end because Osson gave us the lead with 60 minutes gone. We deserved to lose by 3 or 4, but we managed to get the point. I was happy enough. What I didn't enjoy was 3 days later, and this is where we've struggled, where we had the Tuesday game there, and you can see our defeats. Tuesday against Ebbsfleet, Tuesday against Barnet. As soon as we've had more than one game a week and we've had some tired legs, we're just not good enough. Toby Edser opened the scoring, a former Channel hero, and Burrell scored at the other end, but it was only a consolation. Against Halifax, we bounced back with a 1-0 away win. Nicky Colkett again with a goal there. And then a 3-1 win last time out at home to Scunthorpe. Will Squires got his first, I think, of the season, and Nicky Colkett got another brace. He's coming into form, and maybe the reason for that is he signed a new contract, the only one of those stars to do so. I am keeping an eye on that in case we are here next year. If I change from the youth team to the senior one, and you look at the players out of contract, it's not too bad, but it does include Grehan, Hilson, Hill and Clay. Clay I'm not as worried about, but the other 3 are all first team regulars. Add the 3 Lone Stars as well. It's not looking great at the minute. We have had some other interest from other clubs, but we haven't had any more interviews yet. And we are keeping an eye on what jobs are up because it is something I'm very interested in at the moment. I'm still not loving this club. I don't really feel that connection like I had with the Maidenhead team. We must be coming towards the end of that other coaching badge now, so hopefully in time that will pay dividends too. But we have got 2 big games, and then worryingly, based on what I've mentioned before, a very, very tough run-in. Friday, Monday, including trips away to our former club Maidenhead, a long trip to Yeovil as well. Doesn't bode particularly well for the rest of the season, but we've got to hope. We've not got any of the big boys in the running. These two are probably the two toughest ones we'll face. So let's go and get through to the fixtures. Into the first one at Dulwich Hamlet. This one's being played on a Sunday, hence Eastleigh have played the additional one. They're flying, they don't look like dropping points, but we all know how teams get squeaky during the run-in. Little bit tense, little bit nervy, but at the moment, the only game they've lost in the last 2 months is the FA Trophy game. Ironically, against our opponents today, who they lost to against in December as well, so this could be pretty tricky for us. But I'm looking at the last 2 months. In fact, their last league defeat was the 1-0 against us. Since then, 3 0-0 draws, loads of goals scored. Look at their defence, they barely concede a goal. So let's get through to the tactical meeting. Let's hope we're going to go away and we're going to try and get a result. I've just seen that they've got Jamie Souley up front, the man who walked out on us at Peterborough Sports. He's scoring 1 in 2, he's a threat here. Still scoring at the higher level in fairness to him. And Charters, Kane in midfield, players we've managed in other saves. But let's go and get through to it. 4,000 sellout at Dulwich Hamlet, and our squad doesn't really have much room for rotation. In addition to the ones we mentioned, Terrell Torres has been on international duty, he's not fit yet, and that means we've only got the bare 16. Our 11 is Hilson in goal, we've got Grehon flanked by Bennett and Squires at the back. Clay is in holding midfield, rarely gets a start. Hill and Revan the wing backs. Nelson and Riley in the middle, Colkett and Burrell up front. But there is a very weak squad. On the bench, the likes of Cowan, McIntyre's not fit and Freeman wants to leave. It's not a particularly good state we're in. We're trying to stumble towards the line. I honestly don't think we'll win this one. But if we can find a way of getting a 1-0 here, I will be absolutely delighted. 4 changes for Dulwich Hamlet, who seem to have a stronger squad than us actually. Hackford's a good striker. Souley we've talked about from the Peterborough Sports stint, and we have managed Taylor Charters in our Woking live stream save. Good fullbacks who are well known in the game, but let's just go and get through to the dressing room. I'm a little bit nervy about this one. They're a good side, and we have not been consistent recently. Having won our last game, is it going to be tricky now? Well, I was about to say so far so good after 20 minutes, but we're now back with another corner for the hosts. Pye gets down the right-hand side. Is a natural left footer though, so we'll have to cut back. Boylan puts it in. Hackford nods on. He's unmarked. He gets it just wide of the post. You've got to be honest, he probably should have scored that. And with a quarter of the game gone, here we go again with Revan into Riley. First time we're seeing our side go forward. Gets to the byline, the cross is poor. Headed away as far as Revan again. Chance to deliver, but instead turns wide. Now he can put the cross in. Barrels up, doesn't even jump really. And it's away as far as Hackford. This is where they're frightening. Him and Souley have got such pace up there for Dulwich Hamlet. It's out to Kane on the left and Charters. We know he's a good player. National League winner for me on the live stream save. And here it is with Yesten Hughes on the right. They're switching the sides quickly. They're keeping the ball well. And the right back has just ran the whole team. That is a worry for us. The finish is poor, thankfully. But that ain't good enough. We've got to do better. Well, I've dropped to cautious with 5 to the break because they are all over us in terms of dominance and the stats. And it does look like we're struggling with that lack of pace at the back. But we're playing that lower defensive line now, which does mean they're getting in less often. We've had 1 shot from miles out. We've done nothing really to win this game. At the moment, do we say 0-0's a good result? Or do we expect it to go the other way? We're nearly an hour on the clock. It's a Nicky Colkett free kick. And you feel if we are going to score, it's probably a set piece that does it. Not going to be like that though, as Squires tries to get power on a header from the edge of the box. It goes over, it's pretty comfortable, and we're going to make our first change. Burrell the target man. He's not happy, he's struggling, he's not playing well, so Harvey Greenslade is on for him. I don't have too many other options. Hill struggling at right wing back, there's nobody left, and with 20 to go, we are just trying to hold on at the minute. Colkett has been our scorer in recent games, but I'm going to go for Osong because 1 chance, 1 goal. That's the type of player he is. And I know it's a risk, I'm going to take Nelson off too. Paul McIntyre is going to replace him. And we are going to go, as it's another corner kick for Dulwich Hamlet, we are going to go for fresh players and to rest our superstars. Can we hold on and get a point out of this? 2 minutes added on. It's a point on the board. We are 4 off Eastleigh. But given the fact that was our toughest away game left, I don't think we can be too upset. Now the big question is, can we get something out of the Stevenage game? They are the only side we're playing right up in that mix. If we can beat them, I'd then start to feel confident for the run-in. Let's say we don't like what we saw, but you can see we're lacking those big characters. We're lacking that massive threat from a set piece. We've not got some of that star quality. We're not the side we were in the first half of the year. But without the stars, we're trying to carry on. I just hope that maybe the director of football gets someone on deadline day. I'm not holding my hopes up for it. If not, we'll be back for the Stevenage match. Well, we're back just one day later, and not only have we not got someone coming in, there's another player going out. Thomas Hill is out of contract in a couple of months' time, and Harrison Dunk has taken the offer. I don't blame him. 13 grand up front and a 20% sell on as well. But Thomas Hill, a former Liverpool youth star, a man who's been here for 3 or 4 years now, he is another one with that strong personality, and he's another one who's now going to be off. Thomas Hill leaves the club, or I expect him to anyway, and not only is he leaving, he's going to Southend. Southend are third in the league, 2 points behind us. They're not making this easy. The director of football is basically losing all of the squad, and I wouldn't have minded if he tried to get people in. But for now, I'm going to keep my eye on the job centre. If there's any that come up, we're going to apply, because I feel we've got to get out before the slide begins. We have had frustration and a stroke of luck rolled into one. The first bit is we've got to deadline day, and of course Harrison Dunk's decided, yeah, I'll go and get a 17-year-old, not a first teamer. But the positive is Thomas Hill has snubbed Southend. I didn't expect that one. It gives us an opportunity. Now, hopefully, that'll be the last action in terms of outs before the end of the day. The window closes in 5.5 hours. I don't expect anything else. Well, I've got to say, it's not getting any better this episode, is it? We've now had a below-average youth intake on the day of the game, and I'm a little bit worried about the future of this club because all of those star youth players that are getting sold on now, others that want to force their way out or out of contract, and we're not really producing the replacements for them. I guess the best is Leslie Apare, who is a centre midfielder with 1.5 star ability, 3.5 potential, but it's not great. And again, the personality isn't as strong. That's the bit you can't teach. On the right wing, Sam Caceres has the same potential, but not determined, unambitious personality, and his attributes are absolutely awful. So neither of those are going to make it. Nobody else is either. And now we go to a run-in where it's going to be very interesting to see how we get on. And I did get an interesting message as well. It was about the record points total, saying that we were on course for it with Bromley. And it made me just go and think, what points total did they get promoted with last time and what have been the recent ones? Because in a lot of the saves, we've talked about there being very low points totals at the top. And at the moment, Eastleigh are on course for what? 95-ish if they keep up their rate. So last season, 89 was enough to win the league. The year before it was 94, but second place was 78. So 79 would have been enough. And the year before that, 90 points is what Bromley got promoted with. Now, I think that we're going to get to 90 points. We need 14 points out of 21, and we've got a relatively friendly run-in. I think 89 or 90 is achievable. So if we get there, do you think we win the league? That means Eastleigh need to get 10 points from 7 games, but they've had a friendlier run on paper. So what is their run-in? That's what we've got to start to look at. Hartlepool, they're up in 8th place in the playoff mix. I saw York and Barnet on that list as well. So they've got 3 or 4 of the sides potentially up there, but they have got a couple from the bottom as well. So it's very hard to predict. I don't really know what to expect now. I think the best way is just to get through to the Stevenage match, because if we don't win that, it might be title over. Eastleigh can put it well in their hands. Well, some big news today, potentially, is that Terrell Thomas is back to fitness, gives us one more playing option. Our board performance is dropping slightly. Our supporter confidence is average. But let's go and get through to the fixtures, because we've got another unhappy player in Will Squires. That's because we didn't improve in defensive midfield. I said we would. I assumed the director of football would sign someone. That, of course, didn't happen. So Thomas is going to come back in for him. Squires will drop down to the bench. Freeman will drop off the bench. And I think that is the strongest we can put out. There's no point really changing the team. I know Burrell had a poor game, but him and Greenslade, whoever starts is generally poorer. And in the rest of the squad, it picks itself. I'm not happy with Clay in there. I could potentially look at changing shape now as well. We've got the options to play a natural left back in Revan, and then maybe play a back 4 with Graham on the right. I don't think it's the time of the season to change it. So let's submit the team. Let's go and get into it. It is Stevenage we're facing. It is Eastleigh we're chasing. Can we do either of those things today? Let's go and get into it. Find out if we can beat them. I should mention as we get into this one that James Hilson got man of the match last week and was in the team of the week, which shows how much he had to do at the back there. In terms of Stevenage's side, Jesse Deborah is the standout name. We've got him in our Woking live stream save. He's brilliant there. The rest of the squad, not that familiar. Hutchinson's not bad going forward. Cashman's a name that pops up a bit. But let's go and get the result. Take advantage of it. Get on the front foot and nick me another ugly 1-0. That's all I really want at this point. If we can keep in the race, keep the pressure on. we can get Eastleigh to slip up. If they go 5, 6, 7 clear and stay there, then it's very hard for them to feel that pressure, isn't it? So let's get into the first half. It's a good crowd in, but will they do enough to get us over the line? Well, early doors, we've got a corner kick on the left-hand side. Outswinger from Revan to Andy Riley. We've not got those big, massive men at the back post. Bennett is probably the only one left now. He's absolutely huge. The rest of them aren't that great in the air anyway. And Stevenage having a better of the chances, as you can see. Well, 5 minutes to the break, and I'm back apologising for another awful game. But the big worry at the moment, Eastleigh are 1-0 up. We have created nothing in this game. One set piece in is all we've mustered. We've not had a shot on target. It's an awful effort. And if Eastleigh win their game against Hartlepool, which at 2-0 up they look like they're going to do now, they're just a better and more convincing side than us. They win comfortably. They don't have a threat at the back. They don't concede goals or look like it. Though Burrell's in, 1-on-1, and we're missing chances like that. What on earth can you do when you're getting 1-on-1 from 12 yards and your striker just blasts over under no pressure? As we put another set piece into Thomas, he heads wide. It's a big worry for us at the minute. Chances going begging. We've not hit the target once, and we've had enough to win this game. As Revan into Colkett, back to the left back again, and Riley to Thomas. Back into the side today, has made a difference so far. Great ball to Nelson. He's 1-on-1. He's tried to dink the keeper. Why didn't you just welly it? It stays 0-0. There's an hour gone. Can we take advantage of the set piece? Revan will put it in. To the back post it goes. 2 options up. Riley can't get there. He keeps attacking the back post. I've changed the option about 3 times, and Bennett puts the ball wide. It stays 0-0. We'll think about subs in a minute because we can't go the whole game without hitting the target. I'm going to change the front 2 because over that Christmas period where we were nicking 1-0s, they did generally pop up with goals off the bench. I also want to take off Clay, but there's no one really who can play holding midfield. So I either bring on a wing back, another centre half. Can anyone drop in? Nelson can't. Riley I don't really want further back. It's just whether McIntyre can do it, and he can't. So I'm going to stick with it for now. 2 substitutes made. Let's confirm the subs. There's 25 to go. And it's a throw on the left-hand side for Revan. Into Ossong. Back to him again. Thomas has the chance to go forward. You can see we're growing into this game, but can we find the goals? With 2 games a week to come, we've got to get a win in this one. And against a promotion rival, it would be big. It's a long ball forward, which Graham heads away. Stevenage can't get out. Riley brings it forward. Where's the moment of magic? Hill through. It's a poor ball. And again, the final product isn't there. Graham struggling at the back. I might have to look at a sub. Because late on, he is still winning headers. But he's lacking that bit of physicality. As Bennett gets the ball back to him again. And Clay. Up to Thomas. Holds the ball up. Carries it forward to Riley. Through ball towards Ossong. He's the one man who can finish. But he's laying it on a plate for Greenslade. And he scored the goal. It's 1-0. It's the 2 subs linking up front. I've told you they've done it before. 3 or 4 games they've come off the bench and been stars. And at the moment, with our first shot on target, despite many good opportunities, we do lead by a goal to 0. And now we've got to look at what sub we make. I think it's got to be Graham. And I know changing the defence is not a good idea at this point. And Graham is very good in comparison to Squires. But I feel like it's the one we've got to do. Graham off, Squires on. He's knackered. I just hope we hold on. 10 to go. 1 shot on target apiece. But we've scored ours. That's the difference. Eastleigh are still 2 up. They're extending their goal difference lead. But crucially, we keep the gap to 4 points. And we hold on for another ugly 1-0 win. It's exactly what we needed. 4 points from the 2 toughest games on paper in the run-in. And the 2 strikers off the bench, they might well be starting next week. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're going to be back. Because this title race is going all the way. And here comes our run-in. We've got Telford, Maidenhead, our former club, Darlington, Yeovil, and in the final 2 are Guiseley and Port Vale, the side that offered us a job in the summer where we nearly joined instead of here. They're in the relegation zone or near it, just 2 points clear on 42 points. Guiseley in mid-table shouldn't have anything to play for by that point. And as you can see, we are not playing any sides, I don't think in the top 11. I think that Telford are the highest ranked side we've got left. They are. So it is a real opportunity for us to get over the line. Eastleigh have got some big games against the likes of York and Barnet in that top 7. Although York could come back into it if they beat them. So it's going to be an interesting finish. We'll be back for the final 2 games or anything earlier if possible. But it's essentially going to take a 4-game swing in the next 4 games for us to win it any earlier. So I think we'll be safe coming back for the last 2. But if you did enjoy it and you're looking forward to this 10th title race, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe for daily FM23 content from 2 long-term stories. This one will be back in a couple of days' time for the thrilling conclusion to the title race. I guess we've got to make sure we're that top 3 place as well, because that gets us into the semi-finals rather than the first round of the playoff. We'll find all of that out next time. In the meantime, we'll be back with our Builder Nation tomorrow. You can find that playlist, the Twitch channel and the football podcast up in the eye above. But above my head now is the latest season of the Builder Nation. Check that out if you haven't already. And I'll see you here again next time for a thriller.